How do you move your ADU project forward? 85% of you feel like you're getting stuck at some point, and most of you are at the beginning. It's really interesting. I think I know why you're getting stuck, and I'm going to give you a free tool to help you kickstart things. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the things that tend to get people unstuck and how to work through it. And then we're going to do a giveaway that you do not want to miss. I might also share a secret or two. Something I'm cooking up. Might knock your socks off. Might not, but some socks are going to get knocked off. They could be yours. Okay, so very typically what happens is people who are developing an ADU need to line up 3 major decisions all at the same time. And that's very hard because the decisions are like chicken and egg situations. They all depend on each other. You need to line up your designer and your plans. You need to line up your builder and your construction costs. And you need to lend up your financing. Lend up your financing. That's not a sentence. And you need to line up your financing. Each of those decisions depends on the other ones, right? So for example, I've seen this happen where a homeowner goes into a designer and the designer says, great, how can I help you? And the homeowner's like, I'm building a 1,200 square foot ADU with 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. And here's my lot. And the designer looks at it and says, okay, yeah, that's feasible. Here's what I've got in mind. And they just start riffing. And I've seen it happen where the designer didn't question, hey, what's your budget? They just said, great, that's going to cost about $15,000 for me. And I will design your 1,200 square foot ADU based on all this wonderful, fun conversation we're having about what design style you like and what you want to do. And yeah, we could do it. And they go too far down that path with the designer without iterating and talking to the other trades, they end up with a 1,200 square foot 2 bedroom 2 bath, and then they go to a builder and they're like, how much is it going to cost to build this? And all the builders look at it and they're like, oh, $300,000, $400,000. And the homeowner's like, I'm sorry, what? And they go back to the architect or the designer and they say, hey, the builders are all quoting me kind of like $300,000 or more to build this ADU. And the architect says, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And the homeowner's just like, wait, what? Clearly, architects are supposed to talk about budget and overall project costs up front. I think they all do that, but some don't. And even the ones that do can sometimes paint a rosier picture than necessary. Some of them paint a more cynical picture than necessary. If you work with a very qualified designer or builder, they'll be able to ask you the important questions and kind of work with you. But don't be surprised that every vendor who is selling you a service is trying to balance the optimism that will get you to commit to them and the realism that will set your expectations. Because they're all trying to manage your expectations, and it's a tough game. And the same thing can happen if you go straight to a builder, right? You could say, I'm building an ADU. And they said, great, how can I help? What do you have in mind? And you say, well, I was thinking a 1,200 square foot, 2 bedroom, 2 bath ADU in my backyard. And then the builder says, okay, great, show me your plans. And if you don't have plans, you're like, well, I just kind of have this rough idea. The builder's going to go one of 2 directions. Like the architect in the first story, the builder might just say, great, yeah, okay, starting at 200,000. And as you develop your plans, we can adjust from there. Put down a security deposit, please. Or the other path is the builder's going to say, look, I can't really quote you until you have more specific plans. And you'd go, well, I can't get more specific plans until I know what things cost. And it's a bit of this chicken and egg situation again. But good news, I'm going to tell you a real story about some real homeowners who found a process that got them unstuck and through this part that can be so difficult. The first thing Realm is going to do is they give you a free project cost estimate for your specific address. You put in your address and you say exactly what you're trying to do, and you can tweak it and modify it, and you get a real estimated project cost for your specific address. Let's say you can pop into the details, and let's say you want to see the difference between a room addition to your house and an attached ADU. Or you want to figure out what's the difference between converting my existing garage versus knocking it down and building something much bigger in its place. You can do all that and very quickly get calculated estimates based on average project costs and all the data that Realm has collected. Secondly, they've got this thing called the Get It Done package. And what's interesting here is that you hire them to get you multiple bids on your project. But to do that, they'll work with you to narrow down the scope of your project. So if you're not sure exactly what kind of ADU you're doing, like you need help figuring out what it's actually going to cost and what you can afford and how you should design it. They're great at doing all three of those big complicated decisions kind of simultaneously with you, right? So you can hone in. Alex and Julia were on the channel. They explained how they had a garage that they wanted to convert, and Realm helped pencil out the different options. Keep the garage, use the existing shell, bump out the existing shell. It was a tiny garage. What happens if you bump it out a little bit? Or knock it down and build new and make it significantly bigger. Here are the three options. And here's what they each potentially cost. By doing that, Realm helped Alex and Julia get through those early iterations on the scope of work. That way, when they went to a builder, when they went to designers, they knew exactly what their project would be like, right? And they could get real bids that applied to what they were doing. And that's super important. It sounds like a small thing, but if you've done any amount of research and gotten stuck, this might be a good tool for you. And the great part about it is the third thing Realm is going to do is that if you're watching this video in October, Realm is going to do a giveaway. So one person who uses the link in the description below this video and registers their address and saves it to an email address, one of you is going to get a free Get It Done package. So that's worth $499 and you're going to pay $0. On top of that, if you don't win, because you came from How To ADU, they're still going to give you a $100 discount on the Get It Done deposit. Just because they like our audience, they like you. It's been working really well, and so they offered to do even more with us. And I said, actually, could you build an extra discount in for our viewers? Because I think that we'd get even more people moving forward if we did that. I'm really appreciative that they've been able to work with me to do a giveaway, increase the discount, share as much as possible with you guys, because you're what makes this show possible. Now, having said all that, you don't have to use Realm to do this early iteration process, right? You can work with the kinds of designers and builders who are happy to work with you and educate you while you're figuring out your exact scope of work. They tend to charge a little bit more than somebody who's just wham bam doing your plan. You could do your research, you can make educated guesses, you can marry a billionaire. There's lots of options to building your ADU. These first decisions that depend so much on knowing your design, the construction cost of that design, and how you're gonna pay for it, they're very time consuming to get it all right and to move each one forward little by little in unison. But it's super important that you take the time to do a good job, to educate yourself and to do that. Or hear me out, use Realm, lean back with a copy of your favorite book and let them do the hard part. Okay, now here's the secret. I am starting a subscription community because I've been talking to so many of you who want help getting unstuck. So I'm not gonna talk too much about it here. I'll put a link in the description below. I'm going to create a community of people who are trying to build their ADUs. And at different points, that community is going to save you time, it's gonna save you money, it's gonna save you frustration, and it's also gonna give you a shoulder to lean on when you do hit challenges. Because these are long projects, you will get your legs swept out from under you, and it means so much to have a group of people who've been through it and know the tricks and know the pitfalls, because you could talk to us, right? Anyway, if you want to know more about that, there's a link in the description below. If you're ready and you want to build your ADU but you feel stuck, check out Realm. You know, 85% of you said that you feel stuck. Realm is going to get you unstuck, and for $400, you're going to get that Get It Done package. That is a game-changing $400. It's all about finding the right path for you. If you want to find out more about Realm, you can listen to their customers talk about using the service in this playlist. If you want to hear more about the process of doing it yourself, listen to Cole Peterson. He's like a real ADU pro. He came on and talked about going back and forth between those. And if you want to use Realm, link in the description below the video. Thank you for watching. Let's build some housing.